All right, all right. It is time for our weekly mock trade with the Cubs. And can I just remind everyone really quickly and emphasize the word mock and say it in two ways. One, mock means fake. So let's have some fun. We don't have to be so serious about this. And two, no mocking allowed. If you mock in the comments someone else's trade, our trades, you're not going to get a response. I'm just being completely honest here because we're just having fun. This is a way to help the off-season pass. This is a way to have some fun thinking about what could be for the Cubs. And I also wanted to turn this into a little bit of participation and a game. So number one, the game that we're going to do moving forward is going to be take one, laugh at one, and make one. So we're going to take one that is given to us on baseball trade values from some of the people out there that have proposed some trades that are in the similar range of what we're looking at. We're going to laugh at one because a lot of these, I love baseball trade values, but I do think that some of the metrics are a little goofy and don't add up very well when you look at specific trades. You'll see why in a second. And then we're going to make one. And moving forward, after today, I want you to help me make one. So that's how I want you to participate. Email me, kyle@setupman.net. You can send me a video. You can send me an audio clip. You can send me just a long email. I will sift through all of the options that people give me, and I will take the best one that I like, and we'll make that one next week's Make One. We'll at least make it part of Make One. So again, kyle@setupman.net, and you can be part of Make One if you provide a legitimate Cubs trade through baseball trade values. And if you're not familiar with baseball trade values, by the way, they're not a sponsor. I just really like this website. You can join their trade simulator. It's the pro level model for their memberships, and it's just $25 for the year. So basically $2 for the month is how they advertise that. And we are going to, first of all, look at this from the trade simulator. And they have a trade board that we've already opened up. And since Cody Bellinger just re-signed with the Cubs, he's probably not going anywhere. But once again, because we like mock trades, we like to have some fun. Maybe it's now. Maybe it's during the trade deadline for the 2025 season. We're just going to do a trade with Cody Bellinger and a certain team out there that you probably already saw in the thumbnail. It's going to be the Yankees. So before we do, let's take one that was already given to us by the baseball trade boards here. And I got to tell you, there was a lot that I was just like, I'm not feeling these guys. Not feeling these. I don't want Ramon Urias. I don't. We'll come back to one of those there that I'm going to laugh at. I don't want a minor leaguer from the A's. I don't want a minor leaguer from the Yankees. I want MLB-ready talent, even if we're trying to offload some money, because that's what really Cody Bellinger's big issue is right now on the Cubs, is that he's kind of hamstringing them a little bit with payroll. We're not going to get into all that right now. You can think whatever you want on that. That's not the point of this. But I don't want minor league ready talent. I want major league ready talent. So the one I'm going to pick that I think I like the best is this one right here from BVHTO. It was on October 17th of this year. It was Cody Bellinger for Chris Bassett. Straight up, major leaguer for major leaguer. I liked it. Here's why. From an AFV standpoint, the Cubs would be getting not as much value from Bassett as from Bellinger, but they need another starter. And in terms of his salary, it's not nearly as much as Cody Bellinger's, as he has $22.1 million left on his salary still to pay off, leaving him with a negative 9.3 on the salary or the surplus, whereas Cody's is a negative 5.2. So from a surplus standpoint, and if we look at Chris Bassett's contract right now, Chris Bassett contract, we can see exactly what it looks like. It's $63 million. They need a starter, though, and for that reason, I'm willing to take on some of that contract. So essentially, the Cubs take about a $7 million drop-off in the next year's, in 2025's contract. I should say $5.5 million. Sorry, $5.5 million off the contract versus what Cody Bellinger is making. And they get a little bit of money back, maybe to go spend that money on a reliever or maybe a utility guy. I don't know. But either way, it frees them up a little bit. Plus, they got a starter that they needed. Now, yes, I'd like to see them go get Roki Sasaki, but he hasn't even posted himself yet. So I like this one. I think this one's solid. Chris Bassett is not coming off a great season. I think he had a somewhere in the neighborhood of a 4 ERA this last year, but his track record is really good. Yeah, I mean, he was just basically a zero WAR player essentially in 2024. He made 31 starts. He had a 4.16 ERA, 171 innings. Surprised that that's only a zero WAR player. That feels like at least a 1 or a 1.5 at just a 4.16 ERA. But look at this track record, 3.60 ERA with 16 wins in 23, 3.42 ERA, 3.15, 2.29 going back to when he just made a few starts with the A's in the 2020 season. So he's got the track record. This was potentially just a down year for him. He is 35, so that's not going to be great for the long term, but you at least get that starter that had some success. Bring that veteran back into the pitching rotation now that Kyle Hendricks is off the team. I like it. It offloads some of what Cody's got, but also, again, the need there is a starting pitcher. Again, because of his age, you could probably argue either way. I'm not saying I love it. I'm just saying I like it. I would take it. So that's the one that I would take. The one that makes me laugh, really makes me laugh. Let's see if we can find it. Joe Musgrove and Fernando Tatis Jr. to the Cubs. And Wandy Peralta is kind of a throw in there for Cody Bellinger. According to baseball trade values, that is a like for like on the surplus total value. I just cannot get behind this by any means. Just because Fernando Tatis is owed a ton of money does not mean that that is an equal trade. I will take on that contract any day of the week. I'm not a huge fan of the person, Fernando Tatis Jr., the baseball player. Absolutely. Give me all the $335 million that is left to pay him. 100%. This makes me laugh because, I mean, when you look at it from a value standpoint, that's where the AFV is here. You're essentially getting 400 plus value for a 47 value player. Come on. There's got to be a better way. I'm not putting any weight into that one. However, who did propose that one? I need to give some props to whoever did that. Miss Dajuba or Dahuba. Kudos to you. All right, let's make one. I've got one that I want to go ahead and just do right away here. Trade Simulator, and as you can see, some of my tabs open on the right-hand side here is with the Yankees. You probably saw that on the thumbnail when you clicked on this video as well. So we're going to go Cubs as our first team, Yankees as our second team, and I don't think, once again, mock. This is a mock trade. I don't think this is going to happen by any means, but if we're looking at what is coming up for the Yankees versus what has happened for the Yankees recently, and also just how well Cody Bellinger would do at Yankee Stadium. Think about how many times Cody Bellinger flew out into right field at Wrigley Field. That ball would have gone out when it wasn't windy or was at Yankee Stadium. You're talking about Bellinger probably being this year alone a low 800s, maybe mid 800s OPS player just because of the stadium if he was over there in New York. So I think he's a wonderful fit for the Yankees. I think as well the Yankees have shown interest in him and want him. And once again, going back to the needs of the Cubs, when we look at the Yankees starters, who's locked in, who isn't, you already know, and as I'm recording this, Garrett Cole, I'm recording this on Monday. I'm releasing this on Wednesday. I have to 100% assume that Garrett Cole is still going to be a Yankee. It was his favorite team growing up. They're being very open about the fact that he opted out so that they could renegotiate the contract for another year. I would be shocked if Garrett Cole is not a Yankee when I actually make this thing live. If he is not a Yankee, I apologize ahead of time, but I'm going based on what information I have here on Monday. We're out of town Tuesday and Wednesday, so I can't do it then. Here's what they've got. Rodon, locked into a contract that is untradeable. He's got a no-trade clause. He's been pretty rough the last couple years. This year was fine, but it wasn't great. Nestor Cortez, the most tradable to me right now. And that's actually who I'm going to go with, because if we look at it, Marcus Stroman has another year on his contract. I don't see that as being a tradable contract. Luis Gil, or Heel, however you say his name, and Clark Schmidt, lots of team control. I don't see them parting with them. I think they are viewing them as starters of the future for the team. So that means Nestor Cortes. When you look at Nestor Cortes, the last couple seasons, he was a solid starter here in at a 2.6 WAR in 2024, but he wasn't great compared to years past. In 21 and 22 he was an all-star, 2.90 ERA, 2.44 ERA. Then you had this miserable 2023, which really was just littered with lots of injuries. And then 2024 just kind of barely kind of coming back to form. I think with him being in his final year, which if we look at it, Nestor Cortes, and the website that I use for contracts is Spotrac. When you look at this contract right here, you're going to see that he is in his final year of arbitration, which means that he's an unsigned free agent at the age of 31 in 2026. I think the Yankees are going to be major players for other starters out there, mainly in the free agent market, i.e. the Corbin Burns of the world, or in a trade. So to me, I think they look at Nestor Cortes as, hey, this is your last year in terms of team control. So we see you as a valuable asset to trade right now versus we see you as a pitcher for the future. I could be wrong. I don't know. I don't look into the Yankees organization. I know the Cubs organization, but just looking at the numbers and availability of guys on the team, I think that Nestor Cortes could potentially be a trade target for the Yankees. So whether it's the trade deadline or now, why not Nestor Cortes for Cody Bellinger? And here's what that's going to look like. It's not going to look very favorable from a surplus standpoint. Let's go ahead and take a look. Trade to Cubs. And here you go. So 6.3 surplus value for the Cubs versus a negative 5.2 surplus value for the Yankees. Now, in terms of AFV, Bellinger provides a lot more. AFV is 14 for Nestor, 47.5 for Cody Bellinger. Again, that's just basically an overall value. I still don't know what AFV stands for, but it's just essentially their value as a player is what I'm gathering from that. Still learning this website. Stick with me. If you know what AFV stands for, let me know. So if we're going to play this game, if we're going to look at baseball trade values and say, yeah, because of that big contract that Cody Bellinger has of $52.7 million left on the contract is basically what they're saying there. We're going to go ahead and say that, yeah, let's play that game and say that the Cubs need to ante up a little bit more. Okay, so let's say for a second, because the Yankees do have a lot of top prospects that are pitchers, but when we look at them, Will Warren made his debut in 2024. Chase Hampton is expected to make his debut in 25. And then you got Brock Selvage, Ben Hess, Bryce Cunningham. They all are expected in 26, 27. So let's just say that they think, okay, Will Warren is a guy, but we still would like another guy just in case he gets hurt, just in case he gets injured. Okay, Cubs, who would you want to trade away? Well, who are the Cubs' top 30 prospects? So they would probably say, well, we want one of your top 10. Maybe Jackson Wiggins, but I don't really want to give up Jackson Wiggins. I think based on what I'm hearing about him, he's got high upside. From what I've heard, he's kind of the Jackson Ferris of this year. They traded away Jackson Ferris last year, and a lot of experts are saying the Cubs are going to regret doing that. And that this year, Jackson Wiggins, by the way, this is according to Greg Huss over at Cubs on Deck. Great podcast if you haven't listened to that. He's saying that Jackson Wiggins is the Jackson Ferris of 2024-25, so don't get rid of him. However, they do have this guy, Brandon Birdsell, who just had his best year in the minors and was the Cubs minor league pitcher of the year. And he's expected to make his debut this next year. So what would it look like if we added that to the mix? Birdsell. And a lot of you are saying, well, why wouldn't the Cubs want to keep him? I'm, again, mock trade. Just checking it out. Having some fun here. All right, 3.2, that adds it up a little bit. And let's just say for a second that the Cubs want to add in. We'll pay 20 of your $52 million left, meaning 10 this year and 10 next year, that opens up, plus the arbitration of what is expected for Nestor here, 8.3. That opens up another $10 million this year. And again, they would pay another $10 million next year, is essentially how I'm saying that. Add cash. Please select a team. You got to select a team. Yankees, add cash. Cash added. Okay, too much. That's too much. So let's do less. Let's remove that. Let's remove that 20. And let's just do 10. Add cash. Cash added. Okay, there you go. So we give you $10 million. We give you Cody Bellinger. We give you Brandon Birdsell. You give us Nestor Cortez. And heck, let's throw in one other guy to this mix. I like Ben Rice. Why do I like Ben Rice? Because I'm acquaintances with the hitting coordinator for the Yankees, Joe Migliaccio. And he says, hey, I like Ben Rice. I think he's got a lot of potential at the plate. The problem with him is that he is not looking so hot in the field. Maybe the Cubs can do something with him in the field, but the guy's got power. I believe he's a left-handed bat. He's got pop. He's got a great attitude. So maybe you can do something with him defensively, but at least he's another potential bat in your minor league system. And let's just say that the Cubs change this from $10 million to, let's go, $12 million. And let's see how even that comes out. 10 to 12. At least it brings us to the table, right? I don't know if that ends up being the deal, but at least it brings them to the table. Maybe they remove one of those guys, a Birdsell or a Rice, maybe remove one of them, or maybe remove the cash. Something there, or increase the cash, I should say. I'm going to go with this one. This is the one that I'm making. So next time, help me make one. Email me, kyle@setupman.net. Would love to hear what you have to say. Would love to hear what you have to say about this trade. Make sure you're subscribed. Don't take these trades too seriously. Have fun with me this offseason. Let's see what happens. And maybe we'll get lucky. And if we do, then we're going to go get a lottery ticket, because if we're hitting one of these trades, we are definitely needing to let our run. Yeah, I'm going to just stop talking.